Good evening, class. So, supposed to be, I have already started my video presentation for lesson 7, but there is a technical difficulty regarding about the audio, so I need to go back in the video discussion. So, as you can see in my presentation, so you can see the official seal of the Senate of the Philippines. So, lesson 7, focusing on the legislative branch of the Philippine government. And take note that the legislative branch of the Philippine government is composed of Senate and the House of Representatives because it's bicameral. So, it composed with two chambers. So, the first that we will tackle is regarding about the Philippine Senate. So, the rising cases of extrajudicial killings put in questions the system of checks and balance in the government. So, based on our introduction, uh, it has something to do with the rising cases that said to be the result of the programs and activities of the past administration, the Duterte administration. uh, it questions the system of the checks and balance in the government. So it's up to you if you will agree with this statement or not. So we'll try to find out if this statement is reliable and has sense in connection to the important issues that we'll focusing regarding about this lesson. So as a result of the rising cases of extrajudicial killings that happens during the past administration, independent investigations were initiated by international institutions such as the United Nations and the ICC regarding about the rising cases of the extrajudicial killings as a result of the war on drugs of the past administration of PRRD. So what could have been the role of the legislative branch in addressing this particular situation? So mayroon bang magagawa ang legislatibong sangay ng pamahalaan in addressing those type of situations that was cited on our introduction? Supposed to be we have this particular video presentation, but we don't have time to do that, so we'll just skip this particular part. Okay. So what is the role of the Philippine Senate in assuring the system of checks and balance? So meron bang rule ang Philippine Senate para masigurado na magkakaroon talaga ng checks and balance sa tatlong sangay ng pamahalaan? So malalaman po natin yan at we'll try to connect that questions in our lesson as we go deeper. A broad anti-dictatorship movement removed the Marcos regime from power in 1986. So, of course, alam naman po natin sa bahagi na sa parte ng ating kasaysayan, no, na from 1965 to 1986, yung ating bansa ay napasa ilalim ni Marcos, no, sa loob ng 20 years naghari ang pamilyang Marcos dito sa ating bansa. At maraming mga tumutulig sa regarding about the abuse of authority and the abuse of power of the Marcos regime. At dahil din po sa people power, no, na it was proven peaceful revolution that the Filipino people wanted to have change of the government during that time. No, kahit gaano pa kalakas yung kapangyarihan ni Marcos, no, dahil sa mapayapang pagsama-sama ng mga tao ng mga Pilipino, no, dahil sa pagdarasal, no, it is a call for a unity, it is a call for, it is a prayer also na kumilos ang Diyos, ang sambayan ng Pilipino, na magkaroon ng pagbabago sa ating pamahalaan noong mga panahong iyon. At dahil sa people power na pilitan ng pamilyang Marcos na lisanin ang Malacanang, and they are forced to flee in Hawaii as a result of that particular incident or situation. Okay. Okay. So, the 1987 Constitution, ang 1987 Constitution ay nilikha ito sa kadahilanan ng isang, in order to fulfill a promise, no, na we will never again allow a leader to hold unrestrained powers. So, the 1987 Constitution came into fruitful, no, ito ay naibalangkas sa kadahilanan na ayaw natin na dumanas ng isang pinuno na mapang-abuso sa kanyang kapangyarihan, no? And we can never forget what the Philippines, what the Filipino people experience during the martial law years. So, yung mapait na dinanas ng mga Pilipino sa ilalim ng batas militar, ito ay nanatiling uh, ito ay nanatili sa isipan ng marami sa mga Pilipino na we don't want to experience that kind of situation, that kind of experience, and that is why the 1987 Constitution was created for that particular reason alone, no? Na we don't want to go with that kind of experience again. We should never forget that kind of experience again. So the Philippine Congress, we need to take note, when we talk about Philippine Congress is consists of the Senate and the House of Representatives. And take note that Philippine Congress is bicameral. It means to say that it composed with two chambers. That the upper chamber is the Philippine Senate and the lower chamber is the House of Representatives. The Philippine Congress upholds the separation of powers between the three branches of the Philippine government, and the Philippine Congress will always take part in the assurance of the checks and balance of every branches of the Philippine government, from executive branch, legislative, and judicial branch. So the Philippine Congress is considered to be a legislative body, a representative institution, and it is a check and balance mechanism. So first, we will talk about the Philippine Congress as a legislative body. So when we talk about legislative body, the key function of the Philippine Congress as a legislative body, it will propose, deliberate, and pass laws. So, tungkulin ng Philippine Congress na gumawa, no, at magpasa ng batas. So, it will propose the laws that are necessary to implement, and it will pass the laws. So, bahagi po 'yan ng trabaho ng Philippine Congress as a legislative body. And it will provide the public an avenue for participation through consultation. So the Philippine Congress as a legislative body will give the Filipino people an avenue for participations through consultations. So pwede kang mag-attend sa mga kanilang mga hearings na kanilang gagawin, no, that is open for public. Now, there are hearings that is open for public, You can visit the Senate, you can visit the House of Representatives. So, meron lang siguro mga protocol that you need to follow in order for you to be allowed to join, especially those hearings na gaganapin po sa Senate or sa House of Representatives. No? So, that is for public avenue for participation through consultations. The Philippine Congress as a representative institution, so they will act as trustees. So, binigyan sila ng mandato ng taong bayan. So, kailangan din huwag nilang sayangin yung ibinigay o ipinagkaloob sa kanila na trust and confidence by the Filipino people. Then, as the Philippine Congress as a representative institution, they should make decisions on behalf of the constituents that they are representing. And hopefully, sa lahat po ng kanilang desisyon na kanilang gagawin na bahagi po ng kanilang trabaho at bahagi po ng kanilang tungkulin at responsibilidad bilang lingkod bayan, kailangan ito po ay nakasaalang-alang sa kapakanan ng mga Pilipino at sa kapakanan ng kanilang mga sambayanan na kanilang nirepresenta. No? They should work for the welfare of the people that they represent as members of the Philippine Congress. Then, as members of the Philippine Congress, as a mechanism for checks and balance, it will always uphold the separation of power. So, ideally po, lahat ng sangay ng pamahalaan from executive, legislative, and judicial. So, ang Philippine Congress ay legislative branch po ito ng ating pamahalaan. So, it always follows the principle of separation ng powers na wala pong nakalalamang. So, all of the branches of the government are treated as equal. No, walay mag-overlap. To constrain other branches and prevent the abuse of power. So, it always adhere the importance of equality, no? No abuse of power. So ano lamang yung itinakda ng batas na kanilang functions, kanilang duties and responsibilities, then the Philippine Congress should abide and follow what is prescribed and written by the law. No, what is written in the law. Parliaments and national assemblies were established in 17th and 19th century in Europe. So nagsimula po yung parliamentary system sa Europa noong panahon ng 17th to 19th century. For the reason that the parliamentary system or parliamentary setup of the government was introduced or created for a reason to limit the absolute power of the monarchs during that time. So alam naman po natin noong mga panahong iyon, yung mga kaharian, yung mga bansa sa Europa, marami po nito ay mga yumayakap sa pamahalaang monarkiya or absolute monarchy that the power is only the political power is exercised only by the monarchs or the royal family. So that is why the parliamentary setup was introduced or created in order to limit the power of the monarchs during that time, during 17th to 19th century. The power of the president are subject to confirmation to avoid the same situation that happens during the martial rule with former President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr. So when we talk about upper house, so it is the Philippine Senate. Lower house is the House of Representative, and always take note that the Philippine Congress is bicameral. It means it composed with two chamber or two houses, upper and lower house. When we talk about Philippine Senates, it represents national electorate, so from the national setting, and when we talk about lower house, it represents the specific districts that certain lawmakers came from or sectors that they came from. So, muna mga party list member of the House members of the House of Representatives. So, they are representing their districts, no? District, province, no? And then yung sector ng lipunan na kanilang nire-representa ng mga party list. So, yan po ay makikita po sa lower house or sa House of Representatives. Then the Senate and the House of Representatives, they have same rules and responsibilities and same equal powers and functions. So parehas lamang yung kanilang functions at kanilang kapangyarihan at kanilang tungkulin na ginagampanan yung Senado at ng Kongreso. So when we talk about bicameral, the Philippine Congress is bicameral, meaning it composed with two chambers. So the Philippine Congress is difficult to control or manipulate if you are using bicameral, while the unicameral, single chamber, simple and efficient in terms of legislative procedure or legislative process. So, which one is important to you? The efficiency of unicameral structure or the system of checks and balance of a bicameral structure, and why? So, we'll just skip that particular question. So, in terms of the power and functions of the Philippine Congress, we have four. So, the Philippine Congress is lawmaking, tribunal and impeachment, oversight and legitimation, and constituent power. So, when we talk about lawmaking as powers and function of the Philippine Congress, so the legislators enact laws that go through three readings in each both of chambers. So, yung paggawa po ng batas ng mga lawmakers or ng mga legislators, hindi po yan madali, no? So, ito po ay dumadaan ng tatlong pagbabasa or three readings. At ito po ay dumadaan sa both chambers sa Philippine Congress, from House of Representatives, three readings, and three readings in the Philippine Senate. So, hindi po madali yung paggawa po ng batas. So, and then take note, when you create a law, if you're planning to create a law, ang tawag po dyan at first is proposed bill. So, hindi po yan magiganap na batas kung wala pong patnugot po yan ng Pangulo. If there is no signature with the President, then that will still remain a bill. No? Bill po ang tawag po dyan. B-I-L-L. B-I-L-L. So, these laws are submitted to the President for final approval. So in terms of lawmaking as powers and function ng Philippine Congress, so dumadaan po yan, yung proposed bill po, dumadaan po yan sa committee hearings. So meron pong komite na siyang nangangasiwa sa pagkakaroon ng hearing ng proposed bill. So pinag-aaralan po yung mga provision na nasa ilalim ng proposed bill. So nakapaloob sa isang proposed bill. And then, in order to study the proposed bill, so the committees na na-assignan po sa pag-hearing ng proposed bill na yan, they will invite resource speakers from different agencies or NGOs and political movements to questions regarding about the provisions and some part of the proposed bill. So, mangyayari po yan sa first reading. So, sa second reading, sa paggawa po ng batas, so ang committee na nangasiwa sa pag-approve ng proposed bill, so it will be presented in the plenary. So, when we talk about plenary, it means So, plenary session or plenary is a meeting attended by all members of the group organization. This session often involve keynote speeches or discussions on the issues of the broad interest. So, magkakaroon po ng pagdinig, no, sa proposed bill. So, of course, there are speeches, debates, and interpellation regarding about the proposed bill. So, ito po ay mangyayari sa second reading, and then of course yung mga interpellations, so yung legislator ng proposed bill kailangan tanggapin po niya kung may mga amendments or some revision in the part of the proposed bill. So yan ay mangyayari po during the time of second reading. So during the third reading, it will be done already in the plenary session. So no more changes or amendments are allowed. So magkakaroon po ng final vote for the chambers approval, and then yan po ay mapapasa na sa next step. So ito po yung proseso sa paggawa po ng batas. So proposed bill, so it will dadaan po ito ng first, second reading to third reading sa House of Representative. Then pagkatapos sa House of Representative, dadaan ulit ito ng tatlong reading ulit sa Senate, sa upper chamber, and then after it is approved by the upper chamber, by the Senate, it will be passed to the office of the President for the approval of that particular proposed bill. And if the President will use his veto power, so dalawa lamang po yan yung mangyayari. It could be a full implementation or a partial implementation. So if wala pong katanungan, no, if the President will not veto the proposed bill, so pwede niya itong i-approve, no, pwede niya itong permahan, and then after it was approved, then that's the time that the law will be put into implementation. So ito ay magiging isang ganap na batas, at hindi na ito isang bill, kundi it will become a law. So meron na itong RA or Republic Act. Okay? So, ganun po yung explanation sa napakahabang proseso po ng paggawa ng batas. Especially dito sa legislative branch or in the Philippine Congress. So, napakahabang proseso. It takes time. So, the Philippine Congress, as part of the powers and function for oversight and legitimation, the Philippine Congress, part of the limited executive functions, the executive branch is scrutinized, oversight, supported, or legitimation. Then, part of the powers and functions of the Philippine Congress, in oversight and legitimation, we have the power of the purse. Executive agencies are not allowed to spend over and beyond the items approved by the Congress. So yung mga executive agencies, yung mga executive departments, no, kailangan yung kanilang mga gagamitin na sa kanilang mga programs, sa kanilang mga opisina, it should be approved. The budget, it should be approved by the Congress, by the Philippine Congress. So if wala po itong patnugot sa Philippine Congress, then hindi nila dapat, no, kailangan talaga lahat ng mga programa na ipinapatupad sa mga executive departments or executive agencies of the government should be approved and regulated by the Philippine Congress. That's part of the power of the purse sa oversight and legitimation. Part din po sa oversight and legitimation as power and function of the Philippine Congress, they can have congressional inquiry. So the Senate and the House of Representatives can investigate how laws are being implemented. So if gusto nilang malaman kung napapatupad ba ng maayos ang isang batas, then they can set up a hearing. No? Magkakaroon sila ng hearing in order to identify, in order to know if there are laws that are not properly implemented. So, how to address this one if merong mga batas na hindi napapatupad ng maayos. So, the Philippine Congress can do that. Part of their power and function in oversight and legitimation. Then the Philippine Congress, during the congressional inquiry, so they can also summon department officials, department secretaries, if their presence is needed, if there are hearings, no, na kanilang didinggin. So, kung may hearing sa Senado, may hearing sa House of Representatives, that department official, that certain department secretary, their presence as a resource speaker is very essential, no, in having clear picture regarding about the issue at hand, no. So pag sa pagdinig sa mga hearings, kung importante yung kanyang presensya para magkaroon ng kasagutan sa mga katanungan. So, pwede ipatawag po yan. So, with the approval of the President for that certain department official or department secretary that is part of the congressional inquiry na bahagi po ng kapangyarihan ng Philippine Congress sa oversight and legitimation. So, sa oversight and legitimation, part of the powers and functions of the Philippine Congress, as what I told you, the Philippine Congress is responsible in giving the confirmation of the appointments of the President. Diba? Yung Commission on Appointments. Commission on Appointments na kung saan most members of the Commission on Appointments are coming from the Philippine Congress, from the Senate, and from the House of Representatives. So, yung mga appointees ng President sa different agencies sa government, mga iba't ibang sangay, iba't ibang opisina ng pamahalaan, yung mga department secretaries, yung mga ambassadors, yung mga officers sa armed forces, yung mga regular members sa bar council. So, the members of the Philippine Congress is responsible in giving the confirmation, especially yung members po ng Commission on Appointments. So, they are responsible in giving the confirmation of those appointees of the President. So, magkakaroon ng interview regarding about the background of that appointees sa kanyang education, sa kanyang experience, at sa anumang katanungan na pwedeng itanong ng members ng Commission on Appointments. So, the members of Commission on Appointments are coming from the Philippine Congress. So, part of the oversight and legitimation of the powers and function of the Philippine Congress can constrain the powers of the Commander-in-Chief. So pwedeng pigilan, no? Pwedeng pigilan po ng Philippine Congress yung ilan sa mga kapangyarihan ng Commander-in-Chief o ng President, especially if may mga nakitang paglabag. So, in what way man, yung pagdeklara ng presidente ng martial law, yung suspension ng presidente sa writ of habeas corpus. So, when we talk about writ of habeas corpus, so the writ of habeas corpus is a legal instrument that serves as a safeguard against unlawful or arbitrary detention. It is a fundamental right in many legal system and is often referred as the Great Writ. No? So, yung mga unlawful imprisonment. So, bahagi po yan ng writ of habeas corpus. Then, yung emergency power ng President, yung paggamit ng President ng emergency power at yung nakita ng Philippine Congress na may paglabag sa paggamit ng Commander-in-Chief o ng President sa kanyang emergency powers na hindi naman tugma sa nakasaad sa ating saligang batas, then pwede po itong pigilan, pwede po itong i-constrain ng Philippine Congress. At yung pagdeklara ng Commander-in-Chief ng State of War na kung saan wala namang basihan yung kanyang deklarasyon ng digmaan sa ibang estado. So, for security po yan, national security, at kung walang basis, then kailangan talaga tigilan ang Philippine Congress ay i-constrain, no? Tigilan yung unlawful declaration of state of war by the President. So, part of the oversight and legitimation of the powers and function of the Philippine Congress, limited diplomatic powers. So, the Philippine Congress approved treaties with other countries and that was entered by the President. So, yung mga state visit po ng ating Pangulo, no, if there are agreements, if there are treaties that our President ay nilagdaan with other foreign countries, then part of the power and functions of the Philippine Congress, it will approve treaties with foreign countries na sinalihan po natin, or when we entered into a treaty, and if that treaty was signed by the president. So the Philippine Congress can also approve. So if it is very essential and it's very necessary. Then the Philippine Congress as tribunal and impeachment, part of the Philippine Congress as tribunal and impeachment. The Philippine Congress, part of the limited judicial functions of the Congress, it served as the court for electoral complaints against its members and impeachment. So, ang Philippine Congress ay magsisilbi ding korte kung may mga electoral complaints against its members. So, pwede kang maghain ng election protest at pwede itong imbestigahan sa Philippine Congress, both the Senate, the House Representative, as long as meron po itong matibay na ebidensya at meron itong matibay na pinagbatayan. And then, of course, impeachment. In impeachment, it can also have impeachment trial or impeachment procedure for a president or vice president na may nilabag na bahagi ng ating batas. No? In tribunal and impeachment, so the House of Representatives will be the one to approve the article of impeachment. So kapag magkakaroon ng impeachment trial or impeachment proceedings, so ang House of Representatives is responsible in approving the articles of impeachment. And then the Senate will be the one to decide on the case as senator judge. So kung sino ang hawak sa impeachment trial ay those considered to be senator judges, na kung saan sila yung hahawak o magbibigay ng desisyon pagkatapos ng impeachment trial. Then, part of the powers and function of the Philippine Congress, we have constituent powers. So, the Philippine Congress can initiate and propose amendments to the constitutions. So, the Philippine Congress can give amendments or can propose some changes to the Constitution if that is essential at meron pong pinagbabatayan. And then, of course, if there are proposed amendments, regarding about the Constitution, the Philippine Congress can submit these amendments to the electorate for ratification through a plebiscite. So, kung may mga amendments na gustong baguhin with the initiative coming from the Philippine Congress, so of course, ito po ay pagbubutuhan. So, ito ay gagawin sa pamagitan ng plebisito kung ang mga mamamayang Pilipino ba ay sang-ayon na magkaroon ng pagbabago sa ating saligang batas in this particular part of our Constitution. So, the electorate or the Filipino people will be the one to decide if they are in favor or not regarding about some amendments with our Constitution. Karamihan po dyan, it is yes or no lang yung katanungan. Are they approved or not? Yes or no? So, what are different executive, legislative, and judicial function of the Philippines? So, the composition of the Senate, there are 24 senators with 6-year terms up to 2 consecutive terms. So, 6 years terms. No, 6-year terms up to 2 consecutive terms. Then, 12 senators are elected every 3 years. So, 12 senators is elected every 3 years. Noong 2022, we elected 12 senators, and then this coming 2025, some of the senators will end their term this coming 2025. Yes. So, karamihan to ay si Amy Marcos, Bato de la Rosa, Bongo, no? And then si Coco Pimentel will also end his term as senator this 2025. So, this coming 2025 election, we will also be electing 12 senatorial seats. So what are the qualifications of senators as mandated in the 1987 Philippine Constitution? So if you are planning to run for the position of senators, these are the following qualifications that you must have. So you must be a natural born citizen of the Philippines. So kailangan dito ka ipinanganak, no? You must be a natural born Filipino citizen. So both of your parents are pure Filipino by blood, and then at least 35 years old on the day of the election. So, during sa araw ng halalan, kailangan ang kandidato sa pagkasenador ay 35 years old. And then, able to read and write. Napakasimple lamang ng qualification na ito. Marunong bumasa at marunong sumulat, and a registered voter based on the record by the COMELEC. And you must be a Philippine resident for not less than 2 years before the election in the Philippines. So, 2 years kailangan dito ka nanirahan sa Pilipinas. So, napakadali lamang po ng qualification ng isang for the senatorial seat. Then, the qualification of senators, the COMELEC has the power to declare certain senatorial aspirants as nuisance candidate and disqualify them from the race. Yes. So, bahagi po yan ng kapangyarihan ng COMELEC as agency of the government. Sila yung nangasiwa po sa ating halalan na if nakita po nila yung mga ibang mga senatorial aspirants or senatorial candidates na nag-file ng kanilang certificate of candidacy na parang wala namang kakayahan, no? Panggulo lamang, so they will be declared as nuisance. And maybe they will be disqualified for the senatorial race. So, ito po yung organization ng Philippine Senate. So, of course, yung sa pinaka-highest in rank, yung Senate President, meron tayong Senate President Pro Tempore. Sa Senate President Pro Tempore, we have the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader. So, yan po ang organization ng ating Philippine Senate. So, the Senate President is the most powerful figure in the Senate, and as a Senate President, automatically you will be the presiding officer. So, kung may mga hearing, no, may mga important hearing sa Senado, automatically you will be the presiding officer. And third in the presidential line of succession. So, in case na if there are vacant position with the president, if the VP will not succeed with the position of president, pwedeng ang Senate President ang nahalili sa presidente. So, third in presidential line of succession. So, Senate President Pro Tempore, usually the most senior of all the senators. So, discharge the duties of the Senate President. Kung wala ang Senate President, automatically yung gaganap bilang presiding officer ay yung Senate President Pro Tempore in case of the absence of the Senate President. Then, meron tayong Majority Leader at Minority Leader sa Senado. Yung Majority Leader, so of course, it is elected by the members of the majority block of the Senate, and usually kapag Majority Leader, so yung focus na ginagawa mo, you will always promote the program of the majority, especially the administration. Then minority, so it is senatorial niya siguro yung galing sa opposition block, no? Elected by the members of the minority block, so karamihan nito yung minority leader sa Senate. So, ang kanyang ni-represent ay yung opposition. Constructively criticize the programs of the majority of the administration. Yes. The Philippine Senate committees, the efficiency in lawmaking and oversight function relies on the committee system. So, yung mga senador, meron silang hawak-hawak na mga committee na sila yung in charge sa mga committee na yan. So, ang tawag ko dyan ay committee system. The committees conduct rigid thorough discussions. So, nangyayari din po yung plenary sa Senado. So, plenary, it is time that as a member of that committee or as the head of the committee, you will be the one to report on the possible updates of your committee na hinahawakan. So, committees, Congress in session is Congress on public exhibition, whilst Congress in its committee room is Congress at work, according to President Woodrow Wilson in United States. Okay? So, that would be all my discussion for part 1 for lesson 7. Okay? So, good evening.